gonna get started. You know, life has a funny way of displaying things to you. And it's funny because a lot of times you can't see it coming, but once it comes, you can see how connected it is. The reason I say that is because, like, a lot of times when I come up with topics that I feel divinely guided to speak on, you know, or when I write poems, like the magic within these poems that I've created, a lot of them foreseen or foretold dynamics within my life. And it's beautiful to know that it's actually playing out in a way that I can foretell, because, you know, even if I don't really understand the whole aspect of it until it plays out, it gives me an idea of knowing that the direction that I'm speaking on is actually the valid truth. This topic that I have, I wrote this down even before the year began, and you know, I've been trying to outline and be a little bit more professional and a little bit more together with it. I like the idea of it being raw and uncut, but I definitely want to make sure that my messages are depicted in a way that is as clear as possible, you know, like in regard to like what I mean to say is given across. You know, with interviews you don't really know what to give or get in my connection, because of the fact that I don't want to direct an interview. I want to capture the organic interview as it is, and work from there. And as I continue to grow, I feel like that's going to be something that just gets better with time, like me. But in this particular topic, it's why do people you love hurt you? And it's no better time to speak on it than now. I'm a very open person with the internet. The internet is like my diary for everyone. So I'm not ashamed of anything that I live, but it's more of like me depicting what I'm going through for anyone to see, people that I don't know. But it's not because I'm necessarily an open person, because I'm actually an introvert, but it's more over to let people know that it's organic, it's relatable. This is stuff that you can relate to as well. It's not even about me at this point. It's the principle of how I can depict what I'm going through so that you can learn from it if possible. Or if not, then you can just see me and that'll be enough in itself. Why do people I love hurt me, or in general, when I look at the aspect of people that's been hurt? Because I went to school for sociology, so I like to study people and behaviors anyway, especially when it comes to communicating. And you know, you can't communicate with others, you know. You communicate with others, but you know what I'm saying, that aspect of how you communicate with them is a reflection of yourself and how you see yourself. So when people that you love hurt you, you can think about family, or you can think about people that are just grown to know you through time, lovers or friends. Why is it that they hurt you? One of the biggest things that I can say for myself, being empathic, is the fact that they connect to me in a way where it allows me to be more emotionally sensitive to what they're doing, in a place where I can see them as myself. I can reflect my emotions through them, and vice versa. When they're feeling the type of way, they can reflect their emotions through me, and I'm a little bit more connected to them than the average Joe on the street. So that allows them to elevate my mood or diminish my emotions, and bring it off balance. Overall, I had to learn to make sure that nothing alters that in a way where I get too off balance, but even that is a part of being a human. When it comes to family, you know, you grow up with people and they know you before you even recognize yourself. So their perception of you a lot of times allows them to feel like they can treat you in a type of way, when a lot of times they don't even acknowledge the fact that as you're ever growing, that certain actions, just because they will receive that doesn't mean that you would be fond of it. Even if you guys are raised in the same environment, the same lifestyle, everyone is a different individual, and how that person chooses to live or how that person chooses to be respected is always going to be different. But it's harder when family, because family, when they feel like they know you, a lot of times they don't want to get to know the aspects of you that you've grown into when they feel like they've already known you. It's really hard, especially when you're dealing with people that you don't want to alter the status of, or the connection because of the fact that y'all have known each other for however long. And it's really unfortunate. It's been so windy out here, and I have to apologize for the wind, but I don't want that to stop me from going outside. When I'm outside, I feel like it connects me more to my thoughts. And I appreciate being outside when I'm recording, because I can always go in my house, or I can always go in the car, but when I'm outside, the elements help me and assist me with my messages. I truly believe, and that comes with this flaws as well. When you relating with people that you love, you recognize their flaws a lot more. Just like they know who you are, you can recognize them more, and sometimes you allow them to hurt you, because it's easier to forgive someone when you know they have a quality. And that quality can be them being like ill. That quality could be them just being rude. Like a lot of people, I went to go see my family members at my grandma's house, and my auntie told me, like, you've always been like this. You've always been rude. And it's funny how she could perceive it as being rude, and to my eyes, I perceive it as being honest and blunt. I'm very mindful, especially with people that I love. I'm very mindful of how I say things, but I never want to take away from how I truly feel. And because I know you, or because I love you, that I allow that to diminish the true quality of how I feel, especially if it's something that's very impactful, whether it's negative or positive. I want you to really know. And even with people that I don't know, when I speak into this camera, some things may come out a little bit more truthful, a little bit more tactless, and I like it like that, and that's a quality within me. Like my auntie was telling me, like, you've always been like that. So her learning to appreciate, or at least acknowledge that that's a quality within me, probably allows her to be a little bit more passive than she would be with someone that's an average Joe. And that's why you allow people in that same way to, say some positive things that you take to heart, and say some negative things that you take to heart. And the biggest thing that I recognize now is that you don't even realize how you can hurt someone that you love in those moments, because if it was another person and they would give you that same energy, that would really hit them in another way. My relationships has always been turbulent, so I get an idea of how it is to really be in love with someone, and how it is to really be hurt by that same person, and seeing how that plays out emotionally for myself, and being able to forgive that person for their good and bad qualities, because I recognize that it's within myself as well. One thing that I've developed, I think it's a bus coming. That means school is almost out. One thing that I learned with just people that you love, a part of that love is being hurt. Because in those moments of uncomfortability, or being offensive, or being resistant, or just being vulnerable to the hurt, and allowing that person to do that, that's a state of love. That's a state of, I remember Lauryn Hill said it, like, you allowing that person to see them for themselves, and that's a form of healing and hurt. Because me personally, I could validate the fact, and I say Lauryn Hill said something to the idea of, like, when that person is beating you up, that person is really hurt, and you're reflecting that to them. Because if someone can cause you that much hurt, they feeling that times 10 on the inner. And you being that vessel, because they love you, or they're vulnerable to you, and they're able to express that true version of themselves, it is a form of healing, and sometimes that's necessary in hurt. But do I validate any form of abuse? Absolutely not. Never. That's something I have no tolerance for, and I feel like if you have a certain type of value, certain things will not be manifested into your reality. But then again, I don't know. It's some people that's been raised getting beat up, so in their reality, they don't even recognize it as such, And that's unfortunate. Do I believe that it's a good thing for people that you love to hurt you? With all that stuff stated, I feel like that's a part of people developing and growing, and how much unconditional love means. How much will you take, and how much will you allow that person to be themselves to you? Whether that's a good, positive, because sometimes it could come with positive principles, and sometimes it could come with negative principles. But when you unconditionally love that person, does that change how you look at them, or does that change your connection or your devotion to them? Sometimes no. Sometimes it allow you to overlook that more than you would an average Joe, as I mentioned. The only aspect that I would think would be a negative aspect when someone that you love and is hurting you is when you're allowing that person to do something to you that you wouldn't do to them. You know, even if you guys coming from different beings or different type of moralities or different type of perceptions, that person needs to respect your perception in a way where if they love you, they're showing you that they're trying to be their best self and not trying to do anything that, for one, you wouldn't do to them, or something that they know would affect you in a certain way. But the only way to learn through that is for you to develop and go through that aspect of pain and hurt and darkness. Overall, I just want to tie that with just love people as best as you can. Me, I've learned a lot. I've loved a lot of people, and I've hurt a lot of people in the same ways as has been done to me. But one of the things that I've learned is that me being my truest self is the best way to love anybody. And being able to see that person for their perception, and being able to cater to that, even if you think negatively about it, or it don't even have to be a negative thought, but just think like on a opposition. I guess that's the best way to say, like, you don't really relate to it, but you respect that how that person feels. That's a form of really showing that you love that person. And overall, being able to blend and mold with that person and build with that person, you can get through anything. And yeah, even if that adjusts the way that your relationship is, I don't think that you should fear that. I hope this message is as clear as possible. But until next time, love everyone as best as you can. And even if you forgive those, make sure that you value yourself first.